What's up?
Hello, everybody.
Got the mic in front of your face.
Yep. The mic's in front of my face.
It's like blocking your mouth.
Pachow. Now it's all fixed. Hello, everybody. We've got 2 in the chat. Let us know if you can hear us all right.
I know you can see us and we don't look good.
Yeah.
That's blame it on Texas weather because we are freezing our little nuts here.
Flow from Hoth.
Yes. What's Hoth?
Star Wars reference. So it's the ice planet.
Never mind. You lost me at Star Wars.
Never heard of it.
Yeah. I just know Spock was a cool dude.
Yeah.
You lost me on that too.
Yeah. So
the other one.
So speaking of stuff that you may never have seen, I'm sure names that you've heard of without a doubt, but maybe particular pieces of content or training methodologies and taking a closer look at some of these dudes. Josh and I wanted to run through some of the OG of kind of firearms training in the U.S. with you.
Why do I feel like I'm being ambushed, man?
Well, that's kind of the way the thumbnail was set up. Like Josh kind of put you under the bus a little bit with the thumbnail reference.
Right.
No shit.
Yeah.
It's like all of a sudden I have this huge weight on my shoulders. Like, I'm assuming all these big names, and I don't know exactly who you guys are going to throw at me, but I'm assuming these are big names, and some of them I probably have met in my life. But all of a sudden it's like, well, let's see how much of an asshole you are if you're going to say something negative, right?
Well, it's not even
nice.
that, but
Thank you.
originally the intent was like, okay, like this is like the American perspective of stuff that like normal, American gun people like in our space traditionally get this stuff, or at least did before, and then you having been inducted separate from it, it's like not quite challenging the stuff that you've done and learned and the people that you've learned from.
So are these like old videos? Like from years ago?
Some of them are. Most of these guys are still alive, and then that was the original intent. So OG old guys, like traditionally, like there's Jeff Cooper who has since passed, and like that's like if you could argue the OG of like the modern technique, whatever that you want to argue that is, but there's a surprising amount that's in common between dudes that either you've never actually met or that you've met but not like taken a class from.
Yeah, I think it's a kind of a cool look, like the pussification of American firearms training.
So what you're saying is that, let's say, what some of these gentlemen, whoever it's going to be, what they projected or taught or whatnot, it's like shit has gotten.
Compare these, we could do another episode of like who the modern guys are, like that are hot in the space.
Well, I had a chance to watch some of them, and Louis heard my comments on that because I was becoming like internally violent. And we're not going to mention any names because it's a big growing company. We don't want people to lose their incomes, and we don't have that much influence anyway to affect their huge base and all that. But I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh.
So like these OGs of the like American gunfighting, right? Like James's thing was like, hey, gunfighting is the American martial art, right? And like, it's the only actual like martial art that we have, because when America was originated, there were already firearms and blah blah blah. So like if we're the best like firearms training school in America, that makes us the best in the world. And like
James,
right. Right, like I know you may disagree with some of that, but if you think
still
about it
to this day,
if you think about it kind of something ish to that lens, like these dudes were about fighting with firearms, right? These are dudes that created competition shooting that has since become like super gay, and they left it when it became gay, and they were like, hey, you made something that was supposed to be
not gay,
a martial endeavor into
A game.
a game. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see, especially with those videos we watched earlier of some of the, the new hotness, cool guy stuff. Like,
Yeah, that was
And how it compares to some of these. And then a lot of these dudes, like for the most part, I wanted to stick to dudes that are still alive because like there's so many that have passed that were like the OG dudes, like going back as far as you would want to go. But with the exception of Jeff Cooper and then, Louis Auerbach's got one towards the end. That's like most of these dudes are still alive that you guys could and should go take some training from.
while you still have time,
Yeah.
type of thing.
And then that was kind of the age bracket I wanted to put them in was like, the dudes that have been doing it the longest.
So all of these dudes are older than me, right?
Yeah. Because when you get into like the generation that you're in, like that aren't quite the old guys, like there's so many people across the space that like it would be
Yeah.
a huge long list of dudes. But these dudes are the dudes that have been doing it forever. I think the youngest person here is Andy, and then he started when he was 15.
And the Stafford?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
And Andy's what, in 70s now?
he's in his 60s.
60s? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Andy, if you're watching.
Yeah.
Right.
Long time no see, by the way. So yeah, I met Andy. So I don't know who other gentlemen are. I'm assuming some of them I have met and spent some time talking about things. But my guess is that what Josh has selected here is none of these guys that I have taken like full class from or whatnot. So this is pretty much like watching one of those music, first reaction things, right? Like someone hears Tool for the first time and loses their shit, right? So I guess I'm on the display for today to see if I lose my shit.
Yeah. So first up, we got Jeff Cooper. So this is a short excerpt from a mindset lecture he gave to a bunch of doctors. So it's like some sort of a medical conference. And then like not all the doctors are like liberally retarded at that point in time.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Because they're like laughing at his jokes and like
Okay,
doing the thing.
that's pretty cool.
But I had to keep it as small as I could because like, that lecture is an hour. I would just suggest that all you guys go listen to it. But like he's got so many things that would create such a discussion, like the color codes or the safety rules or what the modern technique truly is, or the foundation of IPSC, which is the competition shooting. Like I had to keep it pretty close. And then a big recurring theme. Some of these are about skill, but a recurring theme is mindset. So that was a big thing that Jeff Cooper kind of codified was the the principles of personal defense, that sort of mindset.
All right, so I'm trying to make sure we are sharing the right screen.
Because we don't want to share the wrong screen.
Yeah, well, because I had it set up, and this is me fudding around a little bit with the tech here.
Blame it all on the
There we go.
on the
We're gonna
cold.
share the entire screen, but usually there was like a second pop up that said share system audio. I don't know why that didn't pop up.
Okay, this is not much to watch. I'm assuming this is mainly to listen anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we want to be able for the audience to hear it. Where's
Did you close out Jeff Cooper?
no?
Oh goodness.
No.
Well,
I can summarize.
technical difficulties. Nah, hold on, because this window looks like it was ready for search. What do we got? Is it Jeff Cooper's mindset?
Yeah. You're not typing. You gotta click the box.
You guys watching it live.
This one, right?
Yeah. Then it's at
And
like
what, you have 6 minutes.
6 minutes.
All right.
Oh, there it is.
So let us know, guys, if this audio is coming through on your end. If not, I'll crank the laptop speaker so it'll play through our microphone.
I can give you many other examples. I have dozens, maybe scores in my own personal experience. But why does it happen that when she did that and these others did so well, why does the other people do so badly? There's a critical difference here, isn't there?
Very fair.
Why is it that some people do well under conditions of violence, and some people do very poorly.
Is that better?
And it is not a question of marksmanship skill, at least not basically. Now, you take those poor fellows up there in North Hollywood 2 or 3 months ago, and I dare say that any one of them could have easily hit a Coke bottle over there on the counter from where I'm standing. And yet they fired and fired and fired and fired and missed and missed and missed. And the question comes to why? Why is it that they hit on paper targets, but they didn't hit in a fight? Well, this again, as I insist, is not a matter of physical technique. It's not a matter of what size gun. It's not a matter of how much training. Immediately after that fiasco, a whole number of correspondents were busily saying that, well, the Los Angeles Police Department were outgunned. The LA Police Department needed more training. They needed larger calibers. I submit that that isn't the point at all. And it's a philosophy of ours, teaching this matter for several generations, that you are outgunned only if you miss. So whether the other guy has 14 shots available, or whether he has full automatic fire available, or whether he has a larger caliber, is not important if you don't miss him.
Right there. So he's talking about the North Hollywood shootout.
Yeah, I've seen.
Cops are blasting hundreds of rounds, and then they're saying like, oh, they needed more training, but oh, they needed bigger guns. And then to be fair, like, could it have hurt if they had a fucking Barrett 50 cal and punch right through these dudes? But
I think interesting, right at jump, he said anyone or most all of those cops would have been able to hit a Coke bottle all the way over there on the bar from where I'm at.
So they could.
So it sounds like he was trying to preemptively say that it's not just a shooting problem.
Yeah. Well, and then if we had a bunch more time, like that's 6 minutes into this whole video, but there are things like there's an exact quote from Cooper, but it's an isolated quote from right before this. And it's not just about skill, because some people who have skills and some people who don't have skills perform differently under the conditions of violence. So right before, it's like a minute and a half story about a chick getting held hostage and her boyfriend. The guy's tying up the boyfriend and puts the gun in his waistband. She pulls the gun out and fucking shoots him. It's like, okay, well, she had no marksmanship training, but what did it matter? She had the mindset to start blasting.
Okay, so, well, I mean, I'm definitely, if it's like natural and authentic reaction, I have nothing to disagree with to saying that just equipment or just training or just anything else, isolated components, they fix all your problems. At the same time, when people say it's all in the mindset, you don't need to have skills. I beg to differ.
Right. Well,
I beg to differ because I had so many discussions with like ladies, if it's my kid, I'm fucking doing this and that. And I'm like, well, you're gonna roar, you're gonna hiss. Do you have teeth and do you have nails? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And do you have the tools to do what emotionally you feel like doing? So my take from this short clip from Colonel Cooper is that there's a difference fighting paper and Coke bottles, and something changes when the rubber meets the road.
Right.
I'm not saying that everything in in real violence falls apart. I don't think necessarily that all the things fall apart, but I think what happens is that over reliance on your memorized specific techniques or specific sequencing or specific pathways, or when I turn right, I do this thing exactly this way. That's something that when I was interviewing Todd Fossey, we talked about it for a little while, where he goes like, how many specific techniques from any martial art you've taken, Kung Tao, Silat, Filipino arts, Sambo, Judo, boxing, you've seen work exactly almost zero,
Mhm.
almost zero, and you don't see the same thing again. So I think, again, I would have to listen to the full lecture and to get the full gist of it. But in a sense, yeah, I don't disagree with what he said. Again, I would have to listen further. And
Yeah. It's
as,
definitely
as you guys
worth
know,
listening to.
I don't have, idols that I'm like, oh, I'm not going to say anything negative about this guy or
Right.
that guy.
Well, and we could do a part 2 of this where it's like I could find stuff that's like you could disagree with, because there's some stuff with each of these guys that I've found that I disagree with.
No, and by now I'm quite aware in American gun culture or gun community or gun industry, whatever you want to call it. All this is semantics, right? Not quite semantics, but let's just forget about it. Marksmanship is being placed on the throne.
Yeah.
Marksmanship skills are on the throne, no matter what else. And even in this speech, you can hear you gotta hit them,
Mhm.
right? So marksmanship is primary. And people go like, so what you're saying marksmanship is unimportant. When I'm not saying that it's not sitting on the throne alone, that does not mean saying it
Right.
that doesn't deserve a throne.
And the thing is that like evolution of like American training, I think that that has been dethroned now to speed, which
Right.
is a
Well, I showed
which
you
is
the
a,
verse today, right?
yeah,
Performance
which is
shooting.
which is a dangerous, right? Like, so these guys they were trying to figure stuff out. There wasn't that much in terms of like the fighting with guns, like base of knowledge. And for them, marksmanship was key, right? Like all the way from Wyatt Earp days, like you can't miss fast enough to matter, right? Only thing worse than a miss is a slow miss. But so that had marksmanship kind of elevated on the top throne, where nowadays you're seeing people shooting qualifications or shooting these drills or whatever on the internet that are supposed to be high-end trainers who are doing it well under whatever arbitrary time they have, but are throwing shots and are then justifying it. Well, if I would have slowed down, I would have made the hit. But either way, it's a fail
but they
on the
didn't.
parameter of
Yeah,
the drills
they
that
failed
gave,
their
but they
drill.
prioritize their speed.
Somebody called us Larry, Moe, and Curly.
Yeah,
That's
Tony.
awesome. Who's that?
Tony.
Oh, that's Tony Gallo?
Yeah.
Oh, Tony.
Does that make you Shemp or what?
I'm definitely gonna make you Curly next time I see you
But
in all the wrong places.
yeah, so that's just
So, I mean,
something
that
that
was-
I noticed, right?
Yeah.
But
As I said, like Colonel Cooper, unfortunately, I haven't met him before he passed away. And James and many other people talked to me about it, when I was doing some business back in mid like 2008, 2009 with Gabe Suarez. He was talking to me because apparently he met Colonel Cooper and a number of other guys, I spent some time before he passed away with Pat Rogers. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, it would be very interesting to sit down, but none of us are going to have that chance, and videos like that, again, agree, disagree, or maybe there are some things that may rub you the wrong way or whatnot, It's to take that, objective look and go like, okay, these are pioneers of the, culture, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
Are they gods? No.
yeah,
They shit brown, they bleed red and all that. And, like some people go like, oh, anything Jordan Peterson says is gold. And I go, no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Any man, like I
Yeah.
despise that thing that because I like this guy or this guy is considered to be this, big name or whatnot, everything he says is basically a fucking gold.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
like I got the chance to interview John Farnham at Chacho last week, and he said something. He said, if two men completely agree on every single thing.
One of them is full of shit.
One of them is useless. Right. And so like, and he had a very like,
John is pretty old. John is like 80 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think 81st birthday, maybe on its way.
I've heard a lot of good things about John.
Yeah, he said
That's-
so find the common ground basically and work with that and just know you're not going to disagree. It doesn't have to be shit talk after that. you
Okay.
know?
So I'm assuming John Farnham is next.
Yeah. So this next one is from I think it's the Panio Productions, but they did like what they called the OG gathering, and then there's a couple that they were missing. Like they wanted Hackathorn to fly in, but some got messed up with his flight and whatever. So John Farnham's there, Masada Yube's there, Dave Spalding's there, and then Mike Boyle is there.
That's OGs.
So like they're like, and then of these dudes, like they like at the beginning of it, there's like a 4-part thing, so it's a couple hours, and they're like, hey, we're just first meeting up. We're gonna figure out who's been doing it the longest, and the OG of these OGs is John. Marksmanship most important for doing 6-round revolvers. It's become about speed. Yeah, and then part of this is shit that
Like I can carry more bullets, so
Andy-
Andy gives a
An-
fuck where they go.
So that's a big thing that Andy talks about in one of his clips, is that it does become that. So like a lot of the dudes that were going through like police academy with revolvers are like, hey, you need to solve this in 6 or you're pretty much fucked, because it's pretty hard to do revolver shit in a fight. Yeah, yep, exactly. So
But why does that change with a semi-auto? Like, do you just dump the first 6? Like, do you want
right.
to
Well,
get it done in more than that? Like,
Yeah, if you're playing video games, you got unlimited ammo. You're just like you could just hold down the trigger and just start blasting.
I don't know,
But-
man. Like anything like that. Like I'm listening, and been in so many of these conversations, but focus always comes back to: are you accurate, or are you fast, or how many rounds, or this or that? And I'm like, are you shot?
Right.
yeah. And how many rounds does it take you to not be shot? How many do you have to put out to not be shot?
Yeah. Are you
Yeah.
creating a wall of lead or whatever? Like weird shit that people say, but that's another video.
And again, some people will say, like, oh, so gun is not. No, it's not about that. But I wish I could find. I have a VHS tape somewhere. I told you guys about the video of old comrades of mine that went dark after they left Soviet military when Soviet Union fell apart. And some of them basically they would work for your highest bidder, and they worked for some very colorful people in Chechnya, against Russia, against the homeland. But these are hard dudes. And one of them was talking. He was directly addressing like American gun culture. And it goes like, for Americans, gun is a crutch.
Yeah.
They cannot walk without a gun.
Yeah. That's something
It becomes something on pedestal that this is your Jesus Christ, the Savior, is your gun.
Yeah.
So
So why would I need to fight? Why would I need
it's a
Jesus?
mistake.
Yeah.
It's a mistake. And he gives some stories, some examples. These are some hard dudes, man. Like, I don't know if I would put that video out. It's in Russian, but it has subtitles, and it's VHS, so the video is all, you know what I mean? It's pretty interesting. Oh yeah, and they discuss AR-15 in it too.
Oh, I bet. So you hit one dude with that. bumper
No,
dude
actually,
was
they
no
say
good.
positive things about it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, sweet.
They say it's very light.
All right. So here we got Farnham.
So this is John Farnham talking about a conversation that he'll have, undoubtedly at events like SHOT Show. Executives will come up and want his opinion on stuff, and then this is
Okay.
generally how that goes.
I get reminded that usually a few minutes into my lecture, John will tell me, we manufacture lots of guns, and we sell them to lots of different people for lots of different reasons. People, they're collectors of our guns who never shoot them. There are people who buy them for all kinds of reasons. The reason that my interest is restricted to what we call the serious use of guns, using guns to shoot people. And He said, you represent maybe 2 or 3% of the people who buy guns. Everybody else wants them for competition or, other what we might call non-serious uses. We sell them guns too, and we don't really care why they buy them as long as their checks don't bounce. Yeah, I get it. As a manufacturer,
That's it.
as a
But so that's part of the problem, and part of the problem, like not indicting some of the people that we've watched their videos of, but they're marketing their thing to what they would want to sell. So when people are building these guns, like I'm not a huge fan of it, but then now they've got 380s with comps and all this weird shit. Like it's not it's not for serious use. Like that's like totally far and away. There's another timestamp for that one. Yeah. So
you know,
41:22.
here's another thing. So I listened to John Farnham speak here, and to me, it's always again, it's to me, it's such a strange thing, the fixation on the gun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there is better gun, there is worse gun, there is the high point, there is a Glock, there is a staccato, and then there is llama, right, or whatever, right. And I'm not. Here's the thing: some of those guns I haven't even fucking had any time to spend with or to have opinion about.
Right.
I've seen few staccatos in other people's classes. Nobody brought staccato to my class. Not a single person.
Well, it's because generally your class is a serious class. Like that's a like
Yeah.
But I have a question. I do have students. You mentioned. I mean, he owns a staccato. Why didn't want to run some of my drills with that?
I don't know.
Because, well, on some
Because
level,
supposedly it's premier gun, right?
on some level, it's harder.
Explain.
Like, so I ran a little bit. I forget what we were doing, if we were doing full 2.5 or we were doing DP, but I ran with 1911 45 with the thumb safety, trying to run it the way they're supposed to be run,
Mhm.
and actuating a safety while you're trying to do everything else and finger. And so now you've got like multiple dubers on the gun to do things, and
then you have to transition.
yeah,
And if
yeah,
you hold it
and now
funny, it's got a grip safety.
yeah, the grip safety, when you put it in the other hand and you don't quite get the grip safety right, and then you have a dead trigger. So it can be an advantage when you have two hands on the gun, you're standing square to the target, like staccatos, and whether they're serious use guns, I'm starting to think that they've ironed some shit out with them where like it's a dependable gun. It's going to require more maintenance, so you're going to have to make sure that it's cleaned and right balance of lubrication, like the Glock or the Smith and Wesson M&P. Like those guns you just pick up out of the
box.
out of the pile of dirt, and like that she's just going to run. The staccatos need to be pampered a little bit more, but with that said, like if it gets dirty while it's running, it'll probably keep running for a little while, but you got to make sure you change that spring every couple thousand rounds, or little maintenance things like that that make it harder to maintain and really give not much advantage in a situation, unless split times count and stuff like that. Like if we were going to shoot 25-yard bullseyes, like I'm sure you get a point or two more shooting that staccato
Right.
than
And then
you would with a Glock. But the Glock is going to be, it's a lighter gun, it's easier to switch hands with, like all of that kind of stuff comes into play, where now the Glock becomes the advantage.
No, to me, like when John was talking about, you are 2 or 3% of gun buyers, right? And to me, Glock is blocky. Glock doesn't have the right fucking pistol grip angle. I prefer the one on M&P because it's closer to 1911, or and I don't know if any of those statements are true. I didn't measure the angle. I really don't give a shit. But to me, any tool that I take into a fight, okay, I want the least things that are, if they go wrong because of how the tool is.
Right.
If something goes wrong, it should be operator error.
Mhm.
The tool should be pushed to its limitations, and that requires less moving parts. That requires robustness. That's probably going to require a little bit looser tolerances,
Less holes drilled in the slide.
less holes drilled, less off-balance things to make it lighter, but then it switches your transition and you are freaking 40 degrees off in your transition, and it takes 0.08 second for you to bring it up, and then you have an extra hole as a result of that. Time thing.
Mhm.
They say it's important. To me, fighting tools are like, I don't need extra difficulty, extra complexity to come from them. They need to function for what they meant. What is pistol meant to do? Point at the thing, press the thing, send the thing down the way,
Mhm.
so the thing does the thing.
Yeah.
And if I bump into the things with it, it doesn't break. At least not
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah, and it doesn't shoot itself when it wants to.
But that's it, yeah.
Well, yeah, yeah. So like the original intent is, and that's part of Lewis's interview, because I've seen part of it, is like what it seems to be the trend now is who can drill the most holes or the biggest holes in the slide and change the weight and mess with the springs, and then
I'm seeing all these guys coming to classes, and I'm sorry to say, but I'm not a great shooter. I'm not a fucking grandmaster or master or nothing else. I mean, I put things generally where they need to be, but I have guys been to class that are way below that. But they'll spend 3 fucking hours, talking about this SIG versus that SIG, because that one has, it's custom jobs. That one has this, that one has this compensator versus that compensator. Oh, and if you change these grips and then the stuff, I'm like, what does that have to do with
Yeah.
the function of the weapon?
Yeah.
yeah, it's your Barbie doll, and you
Yeah.
want the
Those are-
special shoes. Or
Those are
whatever.
guys that are gonna try and win the golf match at the pro shop. Like the wedge angle and the
But the thing about it is that there's thousands of them.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's
That's the whole industry.
Yeah.
For the majority of it.
because you can be taking a shit and figure some of that stuff out. Like I remember the days when I was in that boat, like sitting there waiting till the next week when I would go to the indoor range and like sign out my silencer so I could shoot it a little bit while I'm waiting on the tax stamp, and like thinking about the buffer and the adjustable gas block and the adjustable bolt carrier group. And well, if I put that on setting 3 and I put the different spring in, and like I'm like taking a shit while I'm thinking about all this stuff. And then I go to the range and I shoot 50 rounds and try and test my theories on it, I guess. But it's all for not, because I still didn't really know I didn't know how to reload the rifle while I was running. Like, but it's easy to do that, and it's something you can do 24/7 and kind of tinker with in your brain.
I think that's the problem when it became, firearms or shooting industry, right?
Yeah.
That's the
Absolutely.
problem, because we put the product first and then we added industry to that product.
So what
What does that imply? That's like pharmaceuticals. I mean, we selling drugs, or we selling guns, or we selling whatever. To me, it's like, dude, I don't want any of those great companies to suffer loss of sales or whatnot. But to me, it's like,
Yeah, those people are gonna buy that shit anyway.
this is not where it happens. I remember, and I don't remember which company it was, but it was one of those super duper, $3,000, $4,000 guns. They, number of years ago on the internet, they were gonna give the gun to one of the instructors, and they put out like almost like this, like, hey guys, would you vote for? Who should have our gun and have it in his videos and all that stuff? And I think I actually gave it to, what's his name, Botkin or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember which company it was, so don't ask me because I don't pay attention to that. And no, I did not sit there and going like, I wish someone mentioned my name so I can have that gun. Because actually now I know who that company is, and I'm not going to mention it, but a couple of those $3,600 Glocks did show up in my classes, and they did not do very well.
Funnily enough, that part of that might actually be Jeff Cooper's fault. So originally, he didn't want any gear restrictions on competition shooting, and then the Europeans warned him. So IPSC eventually, when it started splitting off, they became the USPSA and
Yeah.
whatever. But the Europeans said, "Hey, these dudes are going to get real faggoty about your gear."
Yeah.
And then he's like, "I don't want to stunt the growth."
And great interview with Ken Hackathorn on the Forgotten Weapons channel.
I've got a clip of that
where he talks about all that stuff. But yeah, like, and I get it from Cooper's side because he was like, "No, man, don't."
These
like,
guys will be mature enough to do it
if
the right
these
way.
dudes want to like
Innovate, right?
mess with their guns to make it a better fighting tool, like
Yep.
let's let them do it.
Where
And-
you made a mistake thinking that they're going to try to make it into a better fighting.
Right.
And part of like a lot of this, like it is kind of a dig at Jeff Cooper, because like when they established like how speed and accuracy were weighted, they were expecting people to be mature about it and be like, hey, maybe this should make sense, maybe this is the right thing to do. And then it becomes how fast can I miss to win? And it's a farce from any semblance of what it used to be. But
Yeah, so to me, my outtake in what John was talking about here, yeah, it's first, yeah, I don't disagree with what he's saying, but to me, it's just so glaring the focus on the fucking gear versus the competence versus developing the baseline valley level skills, not your peaks where you're doing your build drill or whatnot, your valley level, you know what I mean? Where you turn, how you walk, how you do this, how you move your shirt out of the way as you access, whatever.
right.
All right.
And then this one's teeing
Yeah.
up.
Let's
Matt,
rapid
you-
fire him. We did have a private chef come in to cook us dinner tonight, so
Yeah.
we'll try and rifle through some of
Bust
these
out
quick.
a couple of these.
Yeah.
This one's for Masada Yu.
OG for sure.
Taken into consideration. One of the curses of this whole argument was people saying, well, penetration is everything. No, velocity is everything. No, expansion is everything. Use common sense. Everything is something. Nothing is everything. The whole stopping power thing is something we are never going to be able to quantify, because simply too much of it is in the mind and the body and the endocrine system and the purpose of the man we have to shoot. Okay, once his brain fully oxygenated and we blew his heart out of his body with a 12-gauge buckshot round at close range, he's still got 18, 20 seconds of conscious, purposeful physical activity left. Were we able to cut that spinal cord that's only about as big as his little finger, he's probably going to drop like a rock. Did we go by it and maybe stun it a little bit? It's going to be a different response. So in essence, as we look at it, we've got to look at first the delivery system. Okay, as my brother said, we've got to get the bullets where they need to go. And every generation has, the epiphany. Wait, we've just figured out the key thing is where we hit them. No shit, Sherlock. Since men started shooting at each other, they knew that. But people get so caught up in what Jeff Cooper called PII, preoccupation with inconsequential increments, that they forget the basics. So in essence, one of the reasons for the rise of the 9mm has been the capability.
And so this ties in.
The cartridge capability.
You got a bunch of extra shots.
Reservoir of ammunition. As some of us were discussing before the video, we're seeing today mag dumps. People who are literally officers who were literally taught, draw your 18-shot pistol and empty all 18 of them. And it's like throw enough at the wall, something's going to stick. And we see on the dash cam videos and the body cam videos, those bad guys staying up and running for way longer than they should have been. We need to be teaching the pace of speed that individual at that particular distance with that particular weapon. And the 9mm, 18 rounds versus, let's say, 9 or 10 in the old days with the technology that we had then, simply gives you more chances to do that. So if somebody says to me 9mm or 45, my answer is going to be yes. There are arguments for both.
Yes.
But before we look at the gun, there are a few cases where You can look at it afterwards and say, okay, if he had a different gun or different ammunition, it might have turned out better than it did. Most of the time, what it comes down to is, did you have the goddamn gun? We were able to get at it before he could get at his. We were able to get yours on him before he could get his on you. Did you make it clear to him that if he continued what he was doing, his life would end right there? And if he continues to force the issue, can you put a bullet through something he needs right now to keep trying to hurt innocent people? Only after that is it going to matter a rat's ass whether you were shooting a 22 or a 44 Magnum. Well said. Very good.
No, there's nothing to argue. Actually, I really liked what he said. You know, there was actually he repeated the 11th commandment of the of our order. Do upon them before they do upon you.
And then,
Yeah.
Next
Right.
timestamp is 50.
So, yeah, I mean the guy's smart. I do want to actually attend the class with him. Specifically the one that you mentioned. What is it called?
Mag 20.
Mag 20. So the legal lecture. So it's like the armed citizens.
We had a
legal-
number of discussions during
Yeah.
my classes about it and all that, and I'm like, that would be, if I had a chance to pick his brain on the sidelines for half an hour, that would be like extra nice bonus. But
Oh, for sure.
he seems to be a very knowledgeable guy, and like everything that he said here, were speed rules, and then speed becomes the driving metric, and then because we have 18 versus back in the old days 10, so we have a larger, field to miss,
Yeah,
larger
fuck it.
field to fuck
Yeah.
up, because I'll catch up. I have fucking 8 extras, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't disagree with really anything that he has said, and I know for some of you guys may be disappointed because you're going like, I'm pretty sure Russian is going to be just trashing Americans, right?
No. I think these dudes, and that's why I really wanted to interview Farnham and like put some of my questions to him like documented, because these dudes, I feel like if they were still in charge of the training industry, it would look so different.
A lot of
and
the new guys don't like these guys. They're like, oh, these guys are fun.
Yeah.
These guys are stupid. He
people
doesn't know what he's talking
dismiss
about.
these guys like they don't know shit.
Mhm.
That's old shit. Now what
No, I
was
mean-
even your best bill drill?
Listen. At the
And
same,
they asked Bill Wilson, like, what was even your best bill drill? Like, motherfucker, he invented it.
There's
sell his guns.
Yeah.
there's a
But
comment.
still, at least like,
There's a comment on his YouTube channel, and it's saying, "Oh, if you manipulated the trigger different, you'd shoot faster." And it's like, it's fucking Bill Wilson. You're gonna tell this dude like that he's been a fucking competition shooter forever, that he could shoot faster if he did it different.
yeah, if you had an original thought, someone would know your name. Like, but so I guess the fact checkers were out. So Sam has fact checked me. The video was on In Range's YouTube, Not Forgotten Weapons. And then Clem has a good question here. I want to just jump on for a quick second before we go to the next clip. Don't we think the high number of sales and industry part is good and necessary for the Second Amendment? I think yes, 100%. Like I said, one of those, if I won lotto, I wouldn't tell anybody, but there'd be signs like I'd love a staccato, like
Right.
the new ones with no grip safety, the HD line, like the HD P4 2 or so, whatever.
I'll keep my eye open for those signs. If you want
Yeah.
the lottery, and I'll come borrow your staccato for a
right.
day.
Like it's a great gun to shoot. Like, is it fun? Sure. All that stuff, like, and people should be able to buy these things, and like it pushes innovation. There's cool stuff that comes out. Like, nobody says that the tilting barrel is the final evolution of the pistol. Like, so yes, I'm all for it. Like, those are companies selling widgets, right? Or selling tools. There's nothing wrong with Craftsman making a hammer with a carbon fiber handle that's lighter, that a dude can hang in his, you know, shop that doesn't really use it that often because that carbon fiber is going to end up breaking on the 100th nail, right? Like, I'm all for industry and capitalism.
Right.
The problem I have is when that creeps into the training space.
Right. Well, that's the same problem. So that's the thing with free speech is like, okay, well, you also have to be okay with people saying shit that you don't want. It's like, yeah, I like there's a ton of shit that I think is retarded and shouldn't be made for gun people. Like some stuff is like, okay, that's dumb, or oh, well, that's just a toy. And then some of it's like, well, that's just genuinely fucking dangerous. It's going to inspire some false confidence, or it's this shit that doesn't work, or it's bad advice.
Right.
But then that's the same thing as like there's a lot of people saying stupid shit, but you know, you have to do the work and filter through and find someone.
But
that's
at the very least, it should be marketed honestly. So like,
I think that's an oxymoron.
No, I think like Canic markets competition guns, right? Terran Tactical markets their competition guns, right? Like, people will try and maybe buy that gun and carry it to impress a friend, but it's marketed for what it's for, right? Like, the problem like I have is when that stuff creeps overly into dishonest marketing in the training space. Like, I think that you use this term maybe earlier today, Sonny, like people who should know better. Like,
Yeah.
like if I tell you, hey, come, you've never touched a gun before, I have the perfect class for you for defending your home. And I spend part of my 2 days teaching you how to take apart a bolt carrier or the bolt itself to replace the extractor. Like, I'm doing you a disservice. Like, telling you to have an extra bolt on hand, maybe showing you where it would break. But like, we need to get to reloading the gun before we get to like changing 1 in 100,000 round breakage part that you're not going to have on you in the middle of a fight. It's going to be way easier to have this complete bolt or a bolt carrier group to replace it with.
Yeah.
Like, so that's me being dishonest to that student and wasting their time in what they paid for. I told them I was going to help them protect their home, and instead
And
of
you
showing
shit
them,
and you're selling shit.
and instead, yeah,
It
I'm
should be
showing them how to polish their feed ramps and say what kind of, you know, buy my bore cleaner to help get all your copper fouling out of your barrel,
Right.
because that's what's going to save your family.
Well, that's the thing that, you know, we joked about before when, you know, God rest his old James Yeager, right? When he had this one holster company write him a big check, right? But they wanted him to say a specific way about the product. They didn't want his opinion, right? They wanted his marketing.
Yeah.
You know, couple little sponsors that I have, they have absolute zero power to tell me what to say. And that is the only way it's going to be, you know? And I submit to you that if I went even with companies that I like very much as far as product, right? Let's say Glock, they're not going to give me a free run of how I'm going to say it.
Right.
It's going to be scripted. It's going to be specific ways. It's going to be corporate lingo. It's going to be thing that they want to push right now. You know, I'm not doing that. Not that I would get offered that, you know.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't. I just wouldn't do it.
And then Dylan over here trying to prove he doesn't know how many faces go on Mount Rushmore.
He lowered it down to 20.
Yeah. All right. No grip safety. That owns. Jay Gibson. Hello, sir. Dylan says, I have a note in my notebook from when I took fighting pistol in 2018 that says, I've never seen a competition grade fire extinguisher, which feels like a J quote.
Feels like.
Yes.
I have a note in my notebook. There's no.
That's pretty cool, man.
Do they not make those?
I was a firefighter for a few years. I did not see a competition because we do have firefighter Olympics. You know?
Yeah.
No, those were not different. You know, we didn't have competition dummies that we had to track. We didn't have competition helmets that we war.
I think I have seen a competition fire truck though.
Yeah.
Is
They
that
got it looked like a drag race car, and like there's like two dudes standing on the back holding a ladder, and the thing like hauls up to the fire extinguisher.
Yeah, well, that shit is no longer. Yeah, anyway,
But I think that's a different type of display.
right.
More more like Annie Oakley was that not competition when you like put on a show. Fuck it.
Trick shoot.
Performance.
Performative. Yeah. All right.
So what's next?
So on to the next. You said 50.
50.
All right. So that's here.
And there's like, this is all part one, but there's 4 parts to this. And it's
We're not covering it today, right?
No.
Okay.
No. But just like, it's like, that one's like an hour and something.
First of all, a pistol doesn't have firepower. A10
And,
Warhawk has firepower.
Dave Spalding.
What a pistol
Never
has is capacity. And that capacity is intended to keep you from having to reload in the middle of a gunfight. Because if you're in the middle of a gunfight and you're reloading, you're in a bad position. I don't care how fast you can do it. You're in a very, very bad spot. It's like clearing a stoppage. I don't care how fast you can clear a stoppage. If you're doing that in the middle of your fight, that's a bad thing to be. That's a bad position to be in. So pistol reliability, pistol capacity is so you don't have to do those things when you're fighting for your life. And I think we need to understand that.
We can reload after the gunfight instead of during the gunfight.
Absolutely.
Our friend and colleague Tom Gibbons defines that element as time in the fight. How long you can stay in the fight projecting force toward the enemy before you have to take a recess.
Yeah. I mean, people don't realize if you're reloading, you're covering a stoppage in a gunfight, you're probably also moving to keep yourself from getting shot. And how many people practice those manipulations while they're moving rapidly? Most people would trip over their own feet.
Yeah, one of the biggest things we have to emphasize in our courses is getting your feet out of cement.
Yes.
When something happens, like the necessity of a reload or the necessity of reducing a stoppage, invariably people do 2 things. They plant their feet in cement and they gawk at their gun. The kiss of death. We have to get your head up. There's no fight going on here. The fight is out there. And we get your feet out of cement. If you have any chance of living through this.
When I had my training company, I had an entire course that I called Kinetic Pistol Craft.
I love it.
And it was all movement.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd be surprised how many gun club officers melted down when I started having people doing that kind of movement, and including movement back up range. Now, we spent a sizable amount of time working on muzzle diversion, so you can move, because you got to be able to move in a 360-degree environment.
Sure.
But people would literally just lose their shit because you weren't standing with your feet in concrete.
Right.
Mike, you've done a
I've
And then Mike Boyle, he's mostly law enforcement instructor. He's pretty much saying that cops are just like,
Yeah, I don't know
mind
much about Mike.
explodes.
Other guys, Dave Spalding and obviously Mossad and and John. Yeah,
So
I ran across him in many cases. I had exchanges with Dave Spalding over time, and then he stopped for the most part actively teaching a couple of years ago. But we actually had a conversation about potentially me hosting one of his classes, but it was just at that time when he decided to no longer actively teach.
right, and then come back and retire and come.
And
back
then he basically does like UFC fighter thing, retires 6 times and comes back, and I'm like, Dave.
Yeah.
But yeah, what he said, I'm actually gonna go a little bit further, and I'm gonna, and this is not like a critique to both John Farnham and Dave Spalding said or whatnot, right? Feet in the concrete. You guys seen what we do in our classes, right? So when he says that range instructors melt, what do you think kind of melting would happen in our classes?
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Well, it's
like massive coronaries.
Yeah.
The next level up of the range officer, like the further you go, the more people are like, oh, what are you doing? Because there's a lot of dudes. Granted, a lot of them don't move in their classes. They call themselves trained, but they do no movement in their class. Would also just shit a brick about anything that gets done.
And here's the thing, I'm not saying that to make it sound like, like we are that fucking crazy. We do these things, right? But to me, movement is, if not above shooting, it's at the very least, it's sit next to shooting on that same throne.
Mhm.
But movement is much fatter king, so he takes up like 80% of the throne space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the shooting gets like 20% of that throne
And
space.
if you combine that with, hey, you should be, making deliberate shots and not just like, I'm going to shoot a ton because I need to shoot a lot and really fast.
But here's the thing, man. So if
Sonny,
we move if we
We
moving
put
and we
pistols
shooting,
in our other hand.
I know, scary.
Like just that, I mean,
Yeah.
is going to be a no-no for like 90% of people because it's
on
hard.
the move.
It's
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. I know. I have something else hard, but my logic is very simple, right? So I was listening to OG's talk, right, and they go like, most people never trained like weapon manipulations on the move,
Yeah.
especially when you have to move like really move, right,
Yeah.
because it matters. So the topic is being brought into conversation that do you have gun handling skills on the movement? What I'm not hearing, do you have movement skills?
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to me, this is where it matters, because if I need to do manipulation or shooting on the move, the deciding factor is not how I pull the trigger.
Right.
That trigger is the final action of everything, and the baseline, the value of that is somewhere in my feet, in my hips, in the way I move.
Mhm.
Because if that is fucked up, it doesn't matter how I pull the trigger. I'm gonna have to either stop, or I'm gonna have to wait for a very specific moment that feels familiar for my posture.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think these guys are way more in line with what it takes for actual fighting
The 80-year-old
than,
man
than you would
makes
see
more
in a
sense
lot
than
of.
some of these
Yeah.
other.
No, I mean, I would
some
sit
of
with
these-
these dudes. They probably wouldn't sit with me, but I would sit with them and drink whatever the hell they're drinking, probably tea with fucking milk, at that age, which I'm not that far from. I would enjoy the fuck out of,
Mhm.
picking their brains and talking and all that, and then probably I would get yelled at because certain things, even in their eyes, would be crazy. Or if we drink enough tea, they would probably go like, if I was younger, I would do that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what I mean? But so far from what I heard about these OGs, as far as what they say, I'm like, I hate to say it, and actually, people are probably gonna hate it more. But like, these are my people.
Yeah.
Well, check out we got some stuff from Hackathon coming up. It's like,
We're done on this?
yeah.
All right. What do we got?
So
Yes,
Hackathon.
That's Mr. Hackathon.
Hackathon's going to teach us how to transition with a rifle.
All right.
It's not quite 100% exactly like you do it.
I'm
It's-
nice.
This is
It's
a fun-
probably better than the one we watched.
Oh
earlier.
God! Don't remind me of that shit, man.
So this dude is in his 70s, like,
Yeah.
and he's been doing it like nonstop.
Should I go?
Hold
back
on now,
some
is
or
it-
no?
is
No, it should be there.
Is it Ken Hackathorn that they basically like crucified because he said I don't like weapon mounted lights on the
Yes.
pistol?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, and the red dot
and-
is not necessary. That
And all the super seals and Delta dudes
So
were
he's-
like, that's it.
so he's FUD,
done. Put him out. Yeah.
So
FUD.
Ken Hackathorn is
Super
FUD, right?
Super. He's
All of these guys, because they said the same thing about Masada Yub and
not
Dick
our opinions, but it in common. What
I
the
don't know,
internet
man.
would
I will
do.
take these
The
fucks to a
community.
gunfight with me
Yeah,
versus the
dude.
guys that we looked at.
Well,
At their age today.
We need to stack up. Yeah.
When I'm like, if I'm stacking, if I don't have my students with me, and these old schmucks are sitting there, I'm like, hey fellas, want to have some fun before we go? Let's go.
Dude.
But if you have some of the other names that we talked about today, I would go like, I'm going alone. Fuck that.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I could see you, Andy, Hackathorn, and Farnham hitting the door. Like nobody wants to be on the other side of that shit.
No.
Like fuck,
And
you guys
God.
would probably have your guns loaded before you got into the car to drive to
No
the
shit.
house. Dude.
Man, if we pushed the magic button and brought back Super Dave into this, oh,
Yeah. And then
Lord,
Oh,
Lord
shit.
have mercy.
Oh
for,
shit!
for those who don't know, Ken Hackathorn and Super Dave were kind of doing a tour, doing a bunch of like teaching gigs for some feds. Like, so they spent a lot of time together. So if this dude can hang out with Super Dave quite a bit, like there's enough of the competent and crazy in there that shit he's gonna say is gonna make some sense.
And guys, this is not like putting any gravity or whatnot, but Super Dave, God rest his soul. I spent many, many hours talking to Super Dave, and our conversations were fucking awesome. Because a lot of people say when you talk to Super Dave, you don't talk, you just listen. No,
Yeah.
no, I had I wouldn't say it was 50-50 exchange. It was like 60-40 exchange.
Mhm.
So 60% of the time Dave talks.
Right.
But Dave was a listener, and Dave was like, he was also a brain picker.
Yeah.
Because I would
he
say
thought
certain
about
things,
it,
and he
yeah.
goes like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Why'd you use that word?
He's
Yeah.
like, I dig that, but he goes like, can we rewind a little bit? You know what I mean? And he would like, why did you say that versus that? You know what I mean? And I'm going like, this motherfucker is still a student.
Mhm.
That's
This motherfucker is still a student.
That's a pretty. Before we get into this, that's a pretty interesting thing. Like Dave Spalding is known to break out the dictionary. Like when people say something like, "Hey, let's figure." Like you said, why? So
What's the
let's
meaning of the
look up.
words?
And then like Clint Smith's thing is logic. Like his logic, of course, which differs from all of
Yeah.
ours, but it's going to be like, what does this mean? And then does this pass through that lens? And then kind of the same with Masada Yu by virtue of doing all of his work with lawyers, like his opinion, a good lawyer, quote unquote, is going to get more use out of the Webster's dictionary than the Black's Letter Law dictionary because they're going to start fucking with you.
Well, I'll tell you one more thing. If we look at one of the really, really old books, I think it says something, and in the beginning was the word.
Yeah.
We may want to listen to that. All right, Ken Hackathorn, the third.
Yeah.
Dude, but looking like a straight G with that.
That's G, man. I'm
Like,
sorry, what they
dude, the
no
mustache.
scary tattoos,
Yeah.
no fucking testosterone injections.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
His mustache just tells you I'm here to fuck. Like,
Yeah.
or fuck shit up. Either way.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
See, this is Honey Badger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I look at Ken, I look at Mr. Hackathorn, and I'm like, this is like well-groomed Honey Badger. You know what I mean? Like he's been like somebody, like makeup department spent some fucking time,
Yeah.
because otherwise it would be just too scary for general population.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man.
And then that one I'll have 12 seconds. And switch your shoulders. There's a right way to do it and a wrong way. Most people do it the wrong way. Let me show you. When it comes time,
So he doesn't allow for not doing it.
So
Right.
he forces people to switch.
Absolutely.
It sounds like he sees benefit to it enough to do something hard.
Wow, what a concept.
Yeah.
To the point, it shouldn't be something hard. It's just
It's
the
not
thing that you do.
optional.
Well, you
It's-
guys see me do that. Does it look hard?
No, like when
Yeah, it
like
looks easy.
if they started that on day one, it wouldn't be hard. But they just chose not to do it, and they're at day 2000, and now it's hard.
All right.
shoulders. The key thing you want to remember and always practice is when it comes time to change, always your firing hand, the one that pulls the trigger, goes forward. Then the support hand comes back. I use the sling where my arm comes out of the sling. I come out by underneath of the sling. And what happens is, so strong hand forward, weak hand comes back. I switch my feet position and the gun moves my shoulder. I'm ready to fire. It should be very simple. People say, well, why is this important? In the real world, the odds are you're going to have to shoot around with cover from either the right side or left side. It's a 50-50 proposition. You say, well, I don't want to change shoulder. Good. Then you step out and make your ass a big target. They'd love to put bullet holes in you. My theory is I want them to have the smallest target available. That's why we should switch shoulders. By the way, now you have to switch eyes. And for a lot of people, that's a problem. If you have to, when you switch eyes, if you have to, close your right eye. That'll force your left eye to become dominant if you have to. If you're doing it right anyway, the right eye's not helping because if you've got your head out so far, they can see your right eye, they get your whole head to shoot at. Remember, small targets are hard to hit. Now, key takeaway for the last string. From here, firing hand forward, switch shoulders, switch eyes, fire my last 2 shots in the head. Okay, gang, here we go. Straight forward.
Yeah. And then also so that's a bunch of these videos. It's just too long to cover all of them. In that one, he says, "Hey, maybe you don't always need your sling because it can get hung up on shit." And I was like,
I mean, never heard of it before.
Yeah.
right. So
But-
not
but-
100% the
So
same.
no, and it doesn't have to be.
Right.
I can
But-
have a long discussion, sit down with Mr. Hackathorn, and I would explain myself why I think
Yeah.
taking the shooting hand off the
Mhm.
pistol grip, moving it forward before the other hand, we're removing the component. Shit got bad, right?
Yeah.
So I'm on my right shoulder. This is next to the bank switch. I'm doing my fucking thing. Something got so fucked up that I need to switch to the shoulder. I need to make myself so small. It's so bad. That tells me something else. What? I need the bank switch under my control pronto.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So to me, no, this hand does not move off the pistol grip until this hand from the forehand comes back, retakes it, and then this moves.
Right.
I want to be close to the
Mhm.
bank switch as soon as possible.
But he's also got one.
Well, see, that's where I think maybe,
But that's technicalities.
and a little bit of institutional
Yes.
limiting probably came in because somebody somewhere may have been
When they
fighting
grabbed
for
it, they
real
pulled
estate,
the trigger.
right?
I can tell you there is a video from Ukraine, Russian guys teaching new recruits in Donetsk Republic, and they have limited time to prepare them for the front, and they go like, "Don't do it this way. Do it what Hackathorn teaches to avoid unnecessary bang."
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this way, which I consider the correct way, pistol grip first.
Right.
It is hardest way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay, am I saying don't practice it all the other way? No, I'm saying that to me, this is cream de la crop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is the thing. There are other ways to do it. I will do separate video about partial shoulder switches, and that's basically like a pre-op transvestite as far as I'm concerned.
Can you partial transition your handgun?
Good fucking question, but we'll do that separate video. And more important question is why?
Because it's hard.
No. Why?
Why with the right?
Why
Yeah.
partial?
Yeah. It's not.
Uh,
But
Separate discussion,
Yeah.
separate time.
and then
Because it's easier to get better at.
Yeah, I mean, what's
And my
Hackathorn
my
says
cool guy loadout is all set up for the left hand to grab the square thingies.
right.
minimal exposure. I mean, when you're being shot at, if you don't think that exposure matters, you probably haven't been shot at.
And then this is Ken doing this for the handguns. So this is a drill that he and Bill Wilson do a lot. It's the 2-2-2. So it's like getting your two shots.
Does it look like he has 1911 in his hand there?
Yeah.
It's probably Wilson Combat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things that annoys the shit out of me is this YouTube practice of you've got to show the camera an instant clear gun. Because we all know if you have to shoot the camera, the bullet's going to pop through your computer screen and hit you right between the eyes. Now,
Pinko, commie, faggot, liberals.
my shot strong hand. I'm going to simply open my hand up like so. I'm simply going to open my hand up, take my support hand, and
Ah.
right in to the firing grip. If I want to go the other way, open my hand up, my right hand comes right into the firing grip.
Holy shit.
I'm not shuffling or
Yeah.
That dude's
See,
fucking 8 years old.
He started off by making fun of the safety Nazis, and then he did a dope pistol.
Holy
transition,
shit.
huh?
Yeah.
placing my hand squarely
Can I,
against the gun.
can you stop for a second?
Fire two
I just want to say something. This is the first time outside of like people that I worked with before. We're no longer friends or associated with that, but like Ken Good. This is the first time I see someone doing, and actually the way I teach, linear, not coming from below,
Yeah.
and linearity, and open the hand and sliding that V. And if you notice his fingers were gripping, he's not doing this the V squeeze. He's actually putting the front fingers as more important than the back strap.
Yeah. Something tells me
That's why I
that
started
actually
laughing.
that
I'm
real
like,
life-
holy shit. I hope I'm that good looking when I'm his age.
Yeah.
I'll try to duplicate it.
There might
which I teach in every
there might
class.
be a little bit left in this.
Yeah.
This way, I transition over and I've got the firing grip I want. A lot of people ask, well, should I put the safety on between switching hands? No. Keep your finger out of the trigger guard. Any problems? Minor point on this drill. If you think 6 rounds is not enough, you may want to do more. It's up to you. It's your answer. Or if you say, I need more weekend shooting, you can do, say, I'll shoot 2 freestyle, 2 strong hand, and I'll shoot 3 or 4 weekend. So you can increase your performance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fucking.
No, that's money. I mean, this is, you guys been to fucking dozens of my classes, you know, and,
Yeah.
on the basic level, that's one of the things that I say, you know,
but
open the hand, slide it in, linear sliding, that way your muzzle doesn't wobble, that way you.
But he clearly doesn't know what he's talking about because there wasn't a dot on that pistol. And
Preach, brother, preach. Fuck those facts. Did I just say that?
That's probably what he would say. Oh shit, here it is. I think
So
Hackathorn's about to
that's
say
not
it.
the quote. This is the other one.
Oh, all right.
So you've heard the quote before where he's, you know, people who don't
Tommy Pink or something.
Yeah.
liberals.
Yeah. He's like,
That's
they just want to win the prizes at the
same video, but you know, and this is another good one. So this is the in-range TV interview. So Ian from Forgotten Weapons and Ken Hackathorn. It's like a 30-minute thing. Absolutely, like if you give a shit about our gun stuff, it's a pretty cool history, and then you got some lessons in there, and then also the history of competition. Ken Hackathorn is the dude to talk about.
And one of the guys that showed a good guy, hot shot, you then shoot with 3 guns, you're really good shit. First drill we do of the day, we shoot the drill. He gets finished. What's the first thing he did as soon as he finished? The first thing. But again, that's what's programmed in. Now, I didn't say anything because usually I bust on him and go, what the fuck are you doing? But after about 3 or 4 drills, he kind of, okay, I don't have to unload my gun. We run a hot range here or whatever. But I tell people, if your practice, for example, in your endeavor is to run, most matches have stages, they have facades, levels and windows, and your practice to be competitive is to run and stand in a doorway and shoot multiple targets. You might as well, in the real world, you might as well just get over it, but that's not a good thing. So I tell people, be careful what you program.
And part of that is there's no way to actually have a competition that perfectly simulates reality without 50% of the competitors being killed by gunfire.
Yeah, I mean, again, you know, years ago we tried in the early days of both IPSC and later IDPA to have stages where nobody could see. In other words, you walked up, it was burned in, and we did a Soldier Fortune. We tried it where it was burned in range, and you basically walked up. You were given a scenario, and when you go through this breach, this is the problem. You know where the targets were, how many, whatever. You didn't get any walkthroughs.
I love that idea.
And by the way, it was great. What it did was it leveled the playing field. Suddenly, the real hot shots and the average guy's scores became very similar because the hot shots had to slow down.
Right.
Or if they didn't, they failed miserably. What unfortunately happened was, guess what? By the second day, there were guys up on the mountaintop with binoculars, figuring out what's going on in there. See, so that's the drawback. But and again, when you do something like that, and the guys, because I tell people, look, in the real world, you don't get to do a walkthrough. What? No. We know that in a match, you're going to be required to put 2 hits on the target. In the real world, they may take 1. You may take a full magazine before that guy gets the message he's supposed to go down. So you don't get all this rehearsal doesn't mean shit in the real world. No.
Okay, he's a gangster. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Like that's the shit. Like the content of the competition wasn't gay yet, and they were actively making it gay.
So let me ask you a question. How did Ken Hackathorn became controversial? I mean,
just
he
because
said having
he's
a light on your CCW is gay.
he's older in years, and so like
Didn't he
new
used to work-
generation hotshot shit. It's the same thing. Like Nick won't listen to something that you say. You know what I mean? It's like
he listens to Tool now. Actually.
yeah, but like people older
It
than
took
me,
years,
they don't get it. Like that dude doesn't even know how email works. Like he doesn't even have cool editing in his videos. What the fuck can he possibly know? And so they just discount it because they're they don't realize that they're learning shit from a dude who learned it from this dude. They're like 2 steps removed, and that mistranslation, and they're trying to take it in a completely different direction. Like, it's just fucking stupid people being stupid. No respect for elders in American culture. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's what this episode's about.
Yeah.
Respecting your elders.
Respect your
Oh,
elders.
so far, man, everything I heard from these OGs, man, I'm like, I really don't have, again, technicality wise, how you do the transition, why you don't explain the importance of actually details of movement itself, not just how you do, weapon manipulation during the movement. Yeah, these are technicalities, and it's okay. We have different ways. It's still American, shooting culture. I get it.
And like these dudes were students though. So like I'm sure like the dude who was talking about, he did a class where it was every shot was taken on the move, like it was all about movement. Like to him, or like, like Jaeger would say, like, I don't really care how you move. Like, I can't really teach you a new way to do that. Just fucking move.
Get there and shoot them. Yeah.
Yeah, like just do the moving, and however you can make that happen. Like the fact that you would be able to like talk to them and be like, well, hey, we could tweak it this way or that way, or
Oh, and I suspect
show-
some of the answers will be, okay, well, I agree with you, but I also had to teach it to fucking retarded cops and
Yeah.
privates in the army.
yeah. So there's a little bit of lowest common denominator stuff,
Yeah.
for sure.
But so this one we got how to deal with liberals from Clint Smith.
Oh shit! Do you realize that I said something on the internet? When Ukraine war started, when then James went to Ukraine, that James quoted what Clint Smith said about how many Russians died in the World War II, and Clint Smith said not enough. And I said, well, fuck Clint Smith and fuck James Yeager. I got so much hate for that, But the way people perceive it, it's like, fuck you for what you said.
Right.
But doesn't mean I want you to die, to suffer, or you attack.
Yeah,
right.
So
and
anyway, if someone gets butthurt about things like that, I'd say go back to fucking grade school, grow up, and get some pubic hair on.
And I don't know if you remember, because I had a conversation with a number of people about that too. I'm like, well, funny thing, I heard James tell the same joke on Sonny's range during Cold War Hot Range, like then Sonny say the exact same thing he said on his video, and then they both looked at each other, laughed, and hugged. So fuck all you guys, because you didn't see that, and but like you don't realize shit about shit.
And then so this is from a series called Raw Clint, and then there's like 30 or 40 of them, and it's just short clips from some of his lecture stuff. And then there's way too many to get like, oh, this is a cool thing and all this is whatever. But
Say,
let the feet feed. Yes, that phrase I stole from Mr. Gibson.
that was the old American way of movement.
Yes.
But it's like 2 minutes, so there's like how to deal with liberals, and then kind of a thing partially on what he's trying to impart to this.
All right, let's hear it.
Point, you have to decide now that you'll fight. You can't wait until you're on the ground, okay, with your ribs broken, okay, and your face smashed in. I had a gal come to Texas, and you'll like this because this is funny. This is a good example of like what we're dealing with today. She came, pulled up in the parking lot, nice lady, very pleasant looking, okay, very Texas, okay, like a bouffant hairdo and long nails and diamonds and all that shit. Nice lady, okay, very Texas, very Texas. And on the back of her car, she had like a Save the Whales and Walter Mondale and the fucking, all that shit. And they're going like, oh God, I can't believe it, okay? So like this nice lady, and so, my job's not to question, my job is to teach. So we're teaching about day 2, and I go like, just out of curiosity, you came here because... She goes, well, I was in the big mall in San Antonio, went out to the parking garage, and when I did, 3 guys jumped me and beat the shit out of me and took all my shit, okay? And I had to have 7 facial reconstruction surgeries, okay, to put her face back together. So as soon as I got out of the hospital, I got a gun. So hell hath no fury like the ass-kicked liberal. All we need to do is beat the shit out of every one of them, and they'll all get a gun. Right now, they expect someone else to come and save them. I hate the police. Great.
I'm protesting. I hate the police. I hate the police. I hate the police. I go back down the street 3 blocks. Okay. My car is broken into. Who do I call? Fire department? Yeah, someone broke in my car and stole all my CDs. Now you're going to call the cops. You're just going, I hate God. I hate. Good. Here's the thing. I want you to take your checkbook out and write a check for what it would be worth for you to have someone in your house to go down the hallway and clear it when you think someone's in the house at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's a big ass check. Okay. Are all cops perfect? No, we have Catholic priests who butt fuck little kids. Why would I worry about cops being perfect? Okay. Remember, if there were 100 people that graduated from orthopedic surgery school, someone came in last. Ask me how I know. You get it? I just don't want you to be last. It's not that personal.
Okay. I mean, he's definitely, how would I say it? Clint, I don't think I ever had in-person conversation. I've seen Clint in the SHOT Show. I've seen maybe somewhere else, maybe an iteration. I'm not sure. But I never had exchange with Clint. I've heard many things about him and all that. This as a skid beating the shit out of all liberals,
They would become pro-gun.
my question is, would someone becoming pro-gun, does it changes him from being liberal?
No, there's unintended consequences.
Oh, yeah.
So at that point, I'm going like, so if he still wants you to be vaccinated and masked, and now he gets a gun and training.
Mm-hmm.
So Clint, I don't know, man. You may want to rethink that.
Yeah.
As a performative thing in fire and brimstone type of fucking evangelical church, this would go well, but
Right.
I don't know, man. I don't agree with that, but I get this is raw Clint
Yeah.
Smith. I get it.
Yeah. And then up next we got Andy Stanford. There's not many words to describe Andy, but
I do have a story about Andy. So I met Andy at James's.
Okay. Yeah.
At alumni, and the shocking thing was actually he walked up to me. And he was super complimentary, and he's like, "I waited so many years to meet you." And I was like, "This is fucking Andy Stanford." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, damn, dude, come on now,
Yeah.
But the man has talk about a fucking Fort Knox of knowledge and
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and skills and
And
So-
talk about putting the mad into mad scientist.
Yeah.
For sure.
So in this one, this is like an hour and a half long thing, and then the question basically posed to him was competition as training.
Okay.
And then so there's 2 clips from this one, and then Andy's a hammer.
Is this that?
So
right
this
at the end
this
there?
one close to the end, he's going to pull out a blaster.
Okay.
So since it looks like he's kind of on stream, like maybe we can go to a smaller window or something, but
Yeah.
not right now.
Did your course design cause the shooter to have to do some things that would actually happen for real? And you can see where this run and gun shit is not what they'd have to do for real unless they're in the gold medal round of the mass shooting competition. That's not a real. I was watching something today. Some woman said, whatever her name was, shoots the steel targets. They didn't even show the targets. They just showed her. Bang, 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 bang. Reload, bang, 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 bang. Move, reload. Okay, that's all good and well. And I'm not saying there's no value in that. But boy, and this is my, people say, well, the Delta Force shoots competition and the SEAL team shoot competition.
I'll do that.
They
So
weed
yes.
them people out for their mindset long before they shot competition. The competition is not going to ruin them. It is going to ruin somebody who, because they made a grandmaster, they think it got dialed in, and they got no hand-to-hand skills, and they got no first aid skills, and etc. And they don't carry a gun. Hey,
All right, we'll just stop Andy right there. But needless to say, he was carrying a gun.
Right.
Just like, needless to say, all three of us do
Right.
right here, right now, live in the
But
studio.
how many grandmasters do?
I don't know the answer to that. I was told that so many of them, they actually, like some of my students were started. You guys were telling me the stories of like horror stories of people coming in and walking up to the thing and waiting for command to make their guns hot, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
Dude,
Uh,
and it's
put
a
it this
shooting
way.
class, like in my classes, sometimes I go like, all right, I need you to have 2 empty magazines because we're going to be doing a lot of pointing of guns. We're doing the retention work and all that kind of stuff, right? But even then, all of my students step into my range, they're hot. They're hot, loaded, and ready to shred. And when they step off the range and get to their cars, same way.
Yeah.
And most of the
Yeah.
class, if it's
At
a live,
dinner. Yeah.
at dinner, all of us
Yeah.
are fucking ready to shred. You know.
But, yeah.
So when I heard the stories about all these grandmasters, that some of them don't even carry, I forget about daily basis, but rarely carry at all.
Well, they show up to the
Oh,
match.
you know who? Funny story. A grand master who we've spoken about before. Loves to drink beer on live streams. He actually called out one of our other buddies, Trench Grenade, for not carrying a gun on one of the live streams that they did. He was like, I mean, all of us carry a gun every day, right? And like Trench was kind of like
Uncomfortable.
Yeah.
No, 103.30 for this one.
No, I mean, so far what Andy said, I mean, there's nothing I can say back and go like, Andy's wrong about. No, absolutely not.
Yeah, and then he's very passionate making his point. And then some just like the ip8 one from In Range, Andy just has so much knowledge. Some of this is like there was a big coup in competition shooting, and then it's like, oh well, it was the combat pistol, the Southern California Combat Pistol Club, and then oh well, the government didn't like this, so we got to take combat out of it.
Yeah.
And then the gamesmen basically come in, and then a bunch of the dudes that were actually martial artists, like trying to get something out of it, they're like, nope, you guys are out, and then fucked it up and
It's
make
like
it
the
again.
girls taking over the Boy Scouts.
What the fuck? All right, let's listen.
last week, the week before, and I had the blinding flash of the obvious, which is an ip8 or IDPA or USPSA competitor is concerned with the aggregate of all of their shots on a stage as it relates to the stage design, the rules, the target, and the timer. So they're concerned with all of their shots and their total time. They are not concerned with each individual shot. And in the real world, each time you pull the trigger, you launch a death BB. And those death BBs are flying around in your town or your supermarket or wherever. And that's literally as serious as a heart attack. And so I knew that and I don't have this figured out quite yet. And when I get to the conclusion, I'll let you know. But I believe it is teaching an improper mindset as pertains to pulling the trigger on a gun. Pulling the trigger on a gun for real, in the real world, is a life and death matter. Each time you pull the trigger and has nothing to do with the sum total of the times you pull the trigger. And there seem to be a lot of people who feel that if you pull the trigger once, you are obligated to go to slide line. We see police videos or whatever is like, I believe Louis Arbach was a real pioneer with his erratically moving targets. Because he said, if you automatically fire 2 shots at a real human being who's moving, the second one's going to miss what you were shooting at. because that's just physics. So
Follow
I
science.
believe in the value of competition. I believe that it will forge your.
So, fun fact, physics wise, an object can fall up to 7.5 inches in 0.2 seconds.
Hmm.
So if you're shooting 0.2 splits, if your ability to react to what you're seeing is 0.25,
Mhm.
right? Ability to process and react to is at least 0.25, and you're shooting 0.2 splits, there's a good chance if you hit someone right there that
Don't we know somebody personally
Yeah.
who did that in
yeah,
Indiana?
yeah,
In real life, not a competition.
Yeah.
Someone died on the
Yeah.
first shot,
yeah.
and
Died on
second
the
shot
first shot.
missed.
Yep. Luckily
No one
had
behind.
a brick wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. That the bullet found its way into, but 7 inches, body will drop. 0.2 splits. You shoot 0.2 splits in the competition crowd, and they call you a FUD.
Yeah.
Because you're too slow.
Oh yeah.
So what is the good split?
Oh, 16s. They jailbait. They call them jailbait splits. That's what you want. You want some jailbait splits. 15, 16, 17s, you know. Something that would fit in on an
And
island.
we renamed it. We'll call it pedo splits.
Pedo splits. Yes.
Dude. Yeah.
Did we just start a new game?
Yes. Yes.
There you go. You're welcome.
+1 in the chat for pedo splits. Like the shame people shooting faster than 0.2.
So the question is, do you want MILF splits or cougar splits in real life?
Dude, I'm going MILF splits. I'm okay with cougar splits, but wanting MILF splits.
Right.
Definitely not pedo splits.
Right.
Yeah, I want a little time to react.
Well, so
no.
that
I
teases
think
us
we
up.
just improved and changed the fucking whole lingo of the
Yeah.
industry.
Yeah. It
This
takes
is cool. That was unintended. I just came up with it. That's cool.
So that teases us up for the last one. So there's a couple that I wanted to talk about that we don't have videos for, just other dudes that like don't have a ton of content. So Larry Mudgett, have you ever met Larry?
No.
So he's at like outside Salt Lake City, and
that's
his
cool.
classes are super heavy in dry practice. So like he is known, like he has a 4-day course, and it's technically 4 courses, and then there's very little actual shooting because he's focused on the fundamentals and the mechanics to like an autistic level. And then for most people, like, and he's not a super well known trainer.
I mean,
Like,
I
at least,
know
at
who
least
he
not
is.
at least not anymore.
Yeah.
But it's just like, oh well, I've shot 1,000 rounds at this class, blah blah blah. But in his class, like the first 2 whole classes in that series of 4 are totally dry, and like
I like
some,
it.
some
I
pretty,
really like it.
pretty good stuff. And then Claude Werner, he was so he's the tactical professor. He was at surgical speed shooting at Camden. So he's a little bit like Calvin. So he
Okay.
used to be an Army Ninja Special Forces dude, and then now he's kind of done like a lot for carrying a gun as a civilian. So he literally went and got a job at a hardware store to go make sure that all his shit can get concealed and do a regular person's job and stuff like that. But he's got a video on his channel, and it's like weapons I found walking on my way to work, and it's like screwdrivers and shit that he just picks up. So he's like Calvin. He's like, oh, I found this socket, and it's like a fist load.
Dude, I got stories from SHOT Show for you guys with Calvin, man. Some of the
Oh, God.
loadout he accumulated throughout the trip. Because he was out for the Night Out Summit before too. So like 2 weeks with Calvin, like I gave him a blaster, like, but it didn't stop him from collecting a whole bunch more weapons during the trip.
And then, have you ever heard of Scotty Reitz? Scott Reitz, he's like a LA SWAT dude, ninja for a long time. So he's another one of the dudes that's, been in tons of gunfights and, wrote a book, The Modern Art of Gunfighting and stuff like that. But a lot of his philosophy is the biggest thing that matters is like your coolness in a fight and maintaining your composure. Like, of course, there's the element of your skill, your marksmanship, and then moving and all that, and your having a proper
So what you're
mindset,
saying, the headspace
Yeah.
matters.
Yeah.
but not
Almost
pooping
like-
yourself.
Like a lack of tension or
And then
some relaxation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all of these dudes, like I said, Andy is the youngest and he's in his 60s. Scott's in his 70s. Larry Mudgett, I think, is in his 70s. And then like Farnham's fucking 80 years old. Like, and then that teased us up, like I said, for the last one. So this is from Louis Auerbach's combat shotgun. So this is his erratically moving target, the Mirage target. Have you seen this before? It's pretty fucking cool. So this dude,
Target system we've evolved over the years. There's movement. We can move any one of the targets we've got set up, but obviously the body's a humanoid in shape, or the target's a humanoid in shape, 3-dimensional, which causes problems. Obviously, with shooting, a lot of people shoot on 1-dimensional targets, but this has lateral and fore and aft movement. It's got lateral movement this way and this way. And the scenario we've got set up here, obviously, is a no-shoot target here, a shoot target here, and an innocent bystander in the back. Once this entire setup is put into operation during our training, as you'll see later on in the video, it's the pattern size of buckshot. It's a difficult.
and he's doing this with a shotgun. Like he does this in his pistol, or did this in his pistol class too. But this would be a shotgun.
If you don't know the size of your buckshot diameter of the pattern, you're in big trouble here, and the shot is just not on. You cannot take a shot here for liability reasons or anything else. So the total movement we normally use with this would be something along the lines of this: the trainee about 5-6 yards from the target. And as you can see, the target availability chops and changes as we're going. And both targets moving.
This looks
And
like
the
a horror
idea
movie.
is-
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But like, talk about having him fucking make a shot.
And would
Yeah.
exceed, obviously, in this case.
Like even just with your handgun.
Yeah, because you're going to hit that.
But then also like on top of it, now you've got the shotgun.
Yeah, you'll get
Yeah.
availability
If
somewhere
you shoot either in the no shoots, get square kicking the balls. Like, let's see your splits. Ready and go.
Kneeling, stick around
Yeah.
through here, bypass that one.
But you actually have to time it, and then there's so many like genuine. That's a rule 4 target. Like paying attention to what's behind it, and then it's not only like moving side to side rhythmically, like it's erratic.
It actually has 3 dimensions, huh?
Yeah, and that's a big thing with Louis was it's 3D targets, and then they got shirts on, so it's not just like a flat bullseye, and then they're turning and then doing all this.
Well, remember in my classes I was explaining that if you're shooting flat target, if you move him to one side, I would rather see your shots landing on this because you're shooting towards the spine.
Yeah.
I'm not shooting the belly button.
Okay,
I'm
Steve.
shooting towards the spine.
Yeah, we go with the big one.
And he's
guy
gonna have
in
this
the
dude shoot
red
it.
check shirt is the bad guy. The kid is obviously not to be hit, and the bystander, onlooker, or innocent party behind is not to be hit. So you're gonna have to thread the needle with us. You've got buckshot and you've got slug. You can use either.
He's about to
Start you off with buckshot. You've already
touch
got
a
it.
firearm, so
Judging by the wardrobe, this is old video.
Oh yeah, and then
no, these dudes are just ballers.
yeah, and then
That's bowling hard. Man.
Yeah.
and Louis has since passed,
I know Louis has passed.
but
It's up to you when
and he's carrying 2 guns in this video, and then he was a big thing like doing everything that you can do with the right hand with the left hand, like no nonsense. There's some stuff that even in this video I think is pretty gay. He press checks sometimes. Like I don't do that, but this is legit. And then Dylan Mansell, Lee Weems, who was just on that other podcast, and John Hearn have 2 of these targets, so they've recreated the Mirage target. And then Cognitive Pistol with Tactical Anatomy, one of John Hearn's classes, he does set up a 3D target with a spine, and then stuff like, and then he'll have it turn, and then he does a lot of cool shit with that class. So you like are actually thinking about it.
The action goes. Stand by, ready position of your choice. Just double check that you are loaded with buckshot. You're going to have lateral movement. You're going to have sideways movement. Both targets will be moving. You're gonna have to thread the needle, follow through after you fire, and we'll see where we go.
And then with 9 pellets, you got to
Okay,
not hit the
anytime you're
child
ready, Steve,
and not
wind
hit the
it
guy
up.
behind
There
him.
is no rush.
That's threading a needle, all right.
Oh,
Wind
yeah.
it up. Take the shot when you have a shot.
And I'd imagine fingers probably on the trigger the whole time.
You think so?
So he's probably muzzling people.
Yep.
Like that was one of like this one I like better because he explains the target and goes into it. But there's an excerpt from one of his pistol classes, and then there's 2 cops running it at the same time, and then they have to move and do it at like different angles and stuff. And then you see a lot of and then what the answer eventually is
Well, you
keep the
guys,
finger on the trigger.
you guys know my views on finger off the trigger thing and all that. You know.
Yeah.
It has its place. It has its target audience, and you know. But anyway, that's a separate discussion for another time.
Right. And that's part of like the keeping the Jeff Cooper stuff limited. It's like he's got the original 4 rules, and that's at least a 2-hour podcast by itself.
Yeah.
And then the color codes and all these things, principles of personal defense, like those are huge things. But at the very least, like of these dudes, like that's more real American gun training than most people get even today.
So, you know, my only comment, I guess, after watching all these OGs and listening is like, man, in this newer generation where these OGs are either retiring or, checking out, what's replacing them?
Right.
And things don't look promising as far as I'm concerned.
No, there's not enough people continuing those things, and that's definitely a problem.
Because if current state of training was led by dudes like that,
With the technology
With
we've
technology
got, shit,
present?
like, come on, man,
I
do
mean,
better, everybody.
Right.
Fucking
And then
do better.
with the exception of the first and last videos of this, Louis Auerbach and Jeff Cooper, the rest of these dudes are still alive.
Yeah.
And then same with the dudes that I mentioned, Larry Mudgett's still alive.
But they're
Scott
getting
Priest's
put
still
on a
alive.
shelf. They're
Yeah.
not getting drawn in to, hey, how can we make this stuff better, more realistic? Like how can we get back to fighting? Right? So you have a generation of people who've never been punched in the mouth trying to teach fighting, right? Like, what the fuck? And discounting things that these dudes
Yeah, like Farnham's
have
been
to
in some
say.
fights, like
Yeah.
didn't John Farnham serve in
Vietnam.
Vietnam?
Yeah, and he got 3
Yeah.
Purple Hearts.
Like-
and he,
like when I'm going to
Blast
when I
was
went
in-
to grab John Farnham like at SHOT Show, like I don't know, like you call me a pussy, like because I'm half his age, reasonably fit, like all that, but I'm not like gonna run up and if he's moving that way, like grab his shoulder and stop his momentum. Like
no.
there's just something, there's a
You just
vibe
may
there.
you just may get a knife stuck in your throat.
Yeah, like there's a vibe, there's a something that says like this isn't the smart way.
No.
Like like go around him, approach, be like, hey, Mr. Farnham, you want to go do the thing? Like there's just something that says that, like where there's other dudes in the training industry that I wouldn't have a problem like while they're
Scaring them from behind the corner.
yeah, while they're wearing their skinny jeans, being like, grabbing them, being like, hey, bro, you carrying a gun? No, didn't think so. All right, on your way.
Yeah.
Like all those dudes at SHOT Show, fucking tactical masters that are going to discount these dudes. And yet, when someone gets stabbed in the Venetian, we got to run to a fucking backpack that's back in the
We
Starbucks to
laughed
get a
about it,
tourniquet.
yeah.
Like,
When
what
you
the
came back
fuck?
from the SHOT Show? Yeah, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess you got my reaction, so it's probably was actually disappointing because I didn't talk too much shit.
No, like that was part of the intent was like I did like not everything was specifically curated for this, but I was like, the stuff that you would probably disagree with is going to be the stuff that's going to take a lot longer discussion.
Yeah.
Like when we talk about the safety rules, like we could do a podcast for each rule and still not have enough time.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I just like I think like John Farnham and Ken Hackthorne and Masada Yu were fucking gangsters. Like
I don't disagree, man. I mean, as I said, as strange as it may sound, especially people go, "Ah, you fucking Russian, this and that." You know, just listening, and I met some of those guys, so I have personal, you know, like I like personally some of the guys that Andy, you know what I mean. But I feel like they're like my people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So, maybe that part that will disappoint some of the newer generation wannabe ninjas. So
Yeah.
yeah, well, don't feel bad if you want to come and challenge me because I'm not at the retirement age just yet. So if you say like, "What, I'm gonna go beat the shit of John Farnham," I mean, that
You could
sounds
try.
funny and it's not highly recommended, but I know what your excuse is gonna be. I don't beat up, you know,
Yeah.
elderly population. I'm only 56, so don't
Yeah.
feel bad.
Another thing, like when like all of these guys, but like when like Farnham is teaching,
Yeah.
like we were out and it's February and it's like super cold and it's wet and
I just
know,
laugh about
like-
Dave Spalding because like we were joking about, he's like one of those UFC fighters that retired 6 times in the past 4 years and came back. You know.
Yeah.
I think it's not anything else, but he can't stay away from it.
Oh no,
He
it's like
loves his
yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
But Farnham does like 14-hour days,
yeah,
he'll run a
no script,
yeah,
nothing, no breaks,
like on
He's
his
just,
feet.
like
Hey, yeah, guys, eat some dinner. Like then we're gonna get into low light. And you're like, fuck, man.
like yeah, and then
it's a long
all
ass
of his
day.
classes
Yeah.
include some low light, and then obviously include like movement and this and that. But then also kind of funny because there's other people who purport to do this. When he ends his classes, he ends them with a poem, and he doesn't pull out his phone. He doesn't pull out a book. Fucking just spouts that shit off, and you're like, holy shit!
Yeah.
Like that makes
So
sense.
he's basically like a rapper.
Yeah.
Dude, he raps too.
And he does rap.
He'll
Oh.
go like this and he'll be like, let me teach you the like double feed rap.
You guys told me about that.
Yeah,
that
he
video.
had a bunch of students, some inner city dudes, and they're like, "So what you're saying is," and then basically he explained to them like, you can do the tap rack and you got to do this, and then these dudes came up with a rap. Like that should have been in this, but I didn't want it to be like,
Yeah.
oh well, it's just haha funny. But we'll watch it as soon as the stream's over. But it's just like
First, I'm gonna eat. I don't want to
Yeah.
watch.
that's true. That's fair. But yeah, and then Dylan, Jaeger said train with these guys.
Yeah, I saw that
Yeah.
comment.
Do it.
Like that's kind of like you rewatch like some of the DVDs, and at the end of the DVDs he's saying like, yeah, train with these dudes because they're still going to be alive, or they won't be alive and I will be, and it's like, ah, man, that sucks. He and Andy did a video at Gunsight where basically it's the same thing but with Andy. Andy's like, hey, this dude's a fucking revolutionary, fucking kicking ass in the industry, and then when I go, I want James to throw an Andy Palooza and do all this stuff, and it's just like
Other way around.
yeah. So all the more reason, you motherfuckers, like these dudes are still alive. Ken Hackathorn is retired, but he's still putting out some content, and that's not necessarily set in stone. But like Farnham is touring the country as we speak.
Yeah.
Masada Yub is doing the same thing, and Andy, he's working for Surefire, but he still does some training engagements.
And
like-
stay tuned. I'll post the interview with Farnham. Will be a collab on YouTube with Students Violence, and I'm gonna have it be the first video on
Elcar.
the Elcar YouTube channel.
Cool. All right, dudes. We appreciate you all being here, and thanks for putting me on the spot to make a fucking reactions to all these great OGs and shit like that. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. These are legendary men, and it's cool to watch. It's cool to hear. It's cool to listen. We appreciate you all guys being here. We are hungry as fuck.
Yes.
And we are in Texas here, so we had 3 days of the ice storm, and we are sitting in the part of the building
garage.
that has no heating or insulation, and it's, I believe,
40 degrees in here.
I don't know
Inside.
about in here, but I can tell you what is outside. And I know some of you from Minnesota, you're gonna try to outsick me, try this. It's 24 degrees outside now.
Yeah.
But we are southern delicate flowers.
Absolutely.
So yeah. It's
All right.
fucking cold, okay? And we're gonna go eat some beef and some
Yep. So stay tuned for next time. Drop some shit in the comments. You know,
Subscribe, follow, recommend, whatever, share,
that.
all that.